This weekend is huge, Vanessa. For women fighting fans like yourself, like us, for women sports fans, this is maybe one of the biggest weekends to look ahead to.
This is one of the biggest weekends for boxing in general. So first of all, we've got Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, who are actually headlining this. But having Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, which was one of the biggest fights in boxing, but in women's history, it was the first women to ever headline Madison Square Gardens in 2022. It sold out, and now we're going to have a rematch of this. It's undisputed, which is incredible as well. It's a rematch, and it's going to be viewed by potentially 500 million people.
Wow.
So we're in a stadium of 80,000 live spectators. It's going to be on Netflix, which is the first time Netflix are doing a live sporting event as well. So I think women being on there, women being able to represent boxing, combat sports as a total, basically, is incredible. But these are two women that are historic in their craft as well. Like, they're so talented.
I mean, Rush, you've met Katie Taylor.
Yes, I went to one of her fights. I think it was in 2022. And she's again, like, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, she is the most, like you've touched on, humble, down to earth. Like, you wouldn't, and then she could just box the head off you. But she's so nice. What a lovely person. And then she won that fight, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes. Obviously, she's getting on a bit.
Yeah, so she's 38 years of age. And then, she's 38. But Amanda Serrano's 36. So what I'm hoping for from this is obviously that it lives up to the first, which was one of the best boxing matches in history, not just for women, but in general as well. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It was insane. So I want this to live up to it, because the other day in one of the presses, the girls were saying how they were open to a trilogy match. They were also open to a trilogy under men's fighting rules, which is 12 3-minute rounds, which I also think would be incredible. So if they can really bring more fireworks to this right now, then we could see a trilogy, and then maybe they can go right off into the sunset. But I do think that this might be maybe the last big match for both of them, just because they are at the tail end of their careers.
Obviously, I think if Katie Taylor won it, she would be going, right, okay. But if that is like happening in the trilogy, that she has to go through with it.
Well, when they were sitting there at the round table, they were saying regardless of the results, they were open to a trilogy fight. So I think that would be interesting. The only way I see it not happening is if it's a very dominant, one-sided matchup. But Katie won by split decision the first fight. Very, very close. I don't think it was a robbery. I think it could have gone either way. So we'll see who implements the changes in this fight. And then I think that will sort of set the groundwork if we have a trilogy match coming up.
And if that did happen, why would it change to 12 3 minutes? Because obviously there's this whole thing with women, okay, and I can relate to football, and people are going, make the pitch smaller, change the goals, which I actually can look and go, okay, that could be better, because we are not as strong as men. We're like, we don't have the hormones, the testosterone that men have. So why would we do that in a female boxing match now for a trilogy?
So it's more so that it's been more outdated, because what they've shown in women's combat sports is that women are able to keep up with the men. So in MMA, women fight the exact same rounds, the exact same rules, it's everything as men. So it shouldn't really be any different for boxing. So basically, it's just a bit of outdated sort of ruling. More women are advocating for the longer rounds because they're able to just display more of their skills, the versatility, rather than just being something which before was like, oh, let's just see them throw down really quickly in 2 minutes because they don't have the stamina. It completely changes the dynamic of the fight. So like there were some people that'll prefer it, some people not. But we have even the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, they're doing 2-minute rounds. So it can be adaptable. It's no different. But for professional fighting at that caliber, I think that they should have the option, and it should be maybe more mainstream for the 12 3-minute rounds.
Makes sense.
It does. I mean, actually, looking ahead to this weekend, the headlines are very much so on Jake Paul and Tyson, and that's the thing. It's a shame because that's not been dubbed as a fight where you're going to see a lot of class. We're expecting to see a legend, an older guy now, and Mike Tyson take on a YouTuber, which I have no problem with. But actually, you've got, like you say, it's a co-main event, but two women at the absolute top of their game, and maybe the focus isn't quite as much on that yet. Does that frustrate you?
No, it doesn't. I do see that point as well, but I think that Jake Paul is Amanda Serrano's manager and Eddie Hearn is Katie Taylor's. So they know what they're doing. They're using this as a platform, I think, to catapult women's boxing and women's sport as well. So I want to look at it at the lens of like a more positive sort of outlook of
Love it.
And because it is right underneath the Mike Tyson Jake Paul card, it's the co-main event. So people will get into their seats, they want to get warmed up, they might grab a drink, or if they're in a bar or something. So they are going to watch the fight before it. Right. That's what I think. So I think it will get the viewership that we want from it, and it will put it in line with that, because you have proper boxing fans watching it, and all the casuals will just kind of waltz in and be like, holy moly, look at
this.
And
to stream it on Netflix, the fact that we can live watch it on Netflix.
Sorry, but the numbers are, that's mental numbers. If people all tune in, I'm sure I will. But like, that's phenomenal. That's crazy. But like you said, there's two businessmen. They know what you're doing. I think it actually is a real positive that they're using this and going, right, okay, we've got these two, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, and then they're going to put Katie Taylor and Serrano under it. It actually makes sense in the bigger picture.
What I was thinking as well when I was sort of just like brainstorming, I thought, you know what, if we did this 5v5 versus like Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren in Saudi Arabia, and I just thought, wouldn't it be amazing? They've just had the women's boxing in Saudi Arabia on one of those main event cards. So wouldn't it be amazing if we had like Eddie Hearn with Katie Taylor, and we did the Trilogy, and then we had maybe Frank Warren take on Amanda Serrano / Jake Paul, like he did with Deontay Wilder, and then we had the women's best of the best in that 5v5. I thought that again would make history once again for these women.
You might have to pitch it to them.
Yeah, maybe. But, and all they have is gratitude. All they have is gratitude for each other. That's why I also thought it was so nice with these women when they sat there and they just said, I needed a dance partner like you, in order to bring out the best in me. And I think that's also super amazing. They're there to fight, but they also have the utmost respect for each other's careers.
Well, Vanessa, I think you've built up our audience nicely for this fight of the weekend. It's not just about Jake Paul. It's not just about Mike Tyson. Two of the best, Serrano and Katie Taylor, the rematch out in Texas. Have you wangled your way on a flight yet?
My God, I wish. Let's pitch it to them.
Yeah,
get a female out.
Got a lot of pitches today.
Since we've got the fighting expert in the room, who's winning these fights?
So I think that it's going to be who implements the tactics and makes the changes first. It's either going to be Katie Taylor, she'll be more tactical, she'll work a little bit more off the back foot and sort of box Amanda Serrano. But Amanda Serrano goes in really heavy, a lot of pressure. She's got a heavy punch as well. I think maybe Amanda might have just the youth on her side in this one. She's been a little bit more active recently. It was close, and I think if she is able to land on Katie Taylor, she will get the job done. If it goes the distance, it'll be Katie. But I'm edging towards Amanda just purely because of the power she possesses, the aggression, and I think this will be round 11. It won't be round 1 of this fight. Like, she'll take off.
Okay, and Jake Paul.
My heart says I don't want Mike Tyson to lose at all. But I've got a feeling that, like, Jake Paul's 27, Mike Tyson's 58.
Yeah, he's a big, strong boy as well.
You know, and I just think as much as we can sit there and fantasize about how much we love Mike Tyson and the legend that he is, it is a bit of a spectacle. And I think that maybe Jake Paul will use his overhand right and probably get the KO. I think they'll dance around a little bit, make it entertaining. But, you know, it is a professional fight. It is sanctioned. They are allowed to knock each other out. And I think maybe, I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but I think that Jake Paul...
If Mike Tyson gets one hit, he's a big guy, like that could trouble Jake Paul, but like, I'm looking at going...
Jake Paul's like 6 foot something man as well.
Yeah,
big guy. He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's got fast youth on his side, he's a fit guy.
Actually, that fight they had originally done, I was surprised by actually how okay he was. I mean, I know that's for a boxing purist, you probably think, no, that's slanderous, but did a job, so it'll be interesting to see.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.